Joining me in studio is renowned sports journalist Bonnie Mugabe from the New Times. Welcome to the show, Bonnie.
Thank you.
Bonnie, now, this administration, what do you feel is the difference between this administration and the one that took us to the Africa Cup of Nations in 2004?
Well, what I can say is that this administration is trying to build the right structures that would take Rwanda to the next AFCON or the World Cup in the future. So they've just started from scratches, and it's what they're trying to implement, so that we can be able to have more talented and experienced players in the next years to come.
Okay. Do you feel we are putting the right ingredients for us to achieve, for our sports to be at the right level as, let's put it like other ministries' success by our Vision 2020, which also contains the sports ministry to be there? Are we putting in the right ingredients for us to achieve this?
We are trying our best, but speaking from a football perspective, you only have to be able to reach where you want to be if you prepare from the grassroots. So this is why I've started saying that in order to be able to build a strong national team, a good league in future, you have to start by developing, establishing right structures from the grassroots, be it the 15 and the 13, so that you can be able to groom in the right stages to under 17, under 20, and the senior national team. So basically, without the structures down there, you ain't doing anything. So
what are some of these structures that this new administration is putting in place?
Currently, effective January next year, the new administration is trying to establish an under 15 and under 13 championship, both boys and girls, so that in the next 2 years they can be able to produce more than 300 talented under 17, under 20 players. So that if that system continues to be maintained, we'll be having in the next 5 years or 4 years, we'll be having plenty of good footballers, be on the national women's side and national men's side.
But isn't this a similar story to what we had a few years back when we had our under-17 team going to the World Cup? What has happened to that breed, that crop of players? Because they are supposed to be the national team of right now. What happened to this national team?
Unfortunately, when we went to the World Cup in 2011, that was held in Mexico, when they returned back, there wasn't sustainability. They scrapped off that thing of being able to scout and bring in new talents every after 2 years. So this is where the new administration is starting from. Build the right structures under 15, under 17, and to continue year in, year out. And this has been even requested by FIFA. They are going to inject in funds. By the end of the day, they expect the action plan and the strategic plan to be able to bring in successful results in the future. So it has to be done next year and even the following years to come.
So this number, 300 players, Rwanda, we're a small nation. We hardly have 300 players playing in 2 divisions of the league. You want to produce 300 players within 1 year. How is FERAFA going to achieve that?
Actually, we have so many players. As we speak right now, in the men's Super National Football League, we have 395 players featuring in. So without even mentioning second division and women football. So if you were to mention all that, we could come up to 1,000 players. So people think that Rwanda we don't have players. We do have, only that the systems to scout those players is not being done well. So for instance, right now, between now and December, you're trying to train the coaches, train the trainers.
So how are you going to convince these football clubs, the likes of APR, Rayon Sport, Police, AS Kigali, that you tend to buy players from outside? Okay, minus Police and APR, I'm talking about Rayon Sport and AS Kigali that tend to buy players outside Rwanda. How are you going to convince them to use Rwandan players?
They have already started. Even as we speak right now, the big 4, APR, Rayon Sport, Kiyovu, Police, they have gone that way. They are now featuring in under 20 players, Rwandan-made players. That's what they are doing right now. Like for instance, APR, in their 30-man squad, they don't have any foreign players. The same applies to Police, the same applies to Kiyovu. So in this kind of league, in the National Football League, we only allow 3 foreign players to feature in any of the clubs. But going for the next 2 or 3 years, won't be having any foreign players featuring in Rwanda.
Okay, thank you very much, Bonnie.
You're welcome.
You're up to date with the sports news. I'm Arnold Kwizera.